Okay. Good start. Okay. Let me just hit the mic and then we'll get started. There we go. That's my Chrome extension with the alarm clock there. Okay. Kind of a mess to clean things up here. I actually I'm still like working on it, working out on the model up to right now. So I forgot to actually do all the stream stuff. So it's just a little bit of a frenzy to get all this set up. But welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm doing Star, Cookie, and Seti and Joker. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys again. I think we have more regulars. So that's always fun. We can talk more into the mic here. There we go. That is why I have this starting soon so I can actually set everything up relatively good here. There we go. How you guys doing? Probably mentioned this a couple times, but this should be like the last, hopefully the last stream of working on the model itself. And then next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday will be the story section, so get prepared for that. Let's see. I think we're good. I'll just shut this off. Beep. Main scene. Noodle-a-doo-a-doo. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to do the chat for you. I'll get the music going as well. Hang on, I couldn't see it during my starting Zoom screen. Beep. Okay, so we're just gonna take a nice juice break and get everything going here. All right. All right. Take a big get word brain going. Okay. Set up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Evening. It is evening, or a little bit kind of early, late, mid-evening, I suppose. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Locomotive, and Seti. What do we got? What did I miss last time? It's getting harder. Okay. Yeah, that's totally okay. I glad you asked, because I'm really good at recapping. Let's see. And hi, Dakota. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, last time I was working on this armature. That's what all these bones over here are. Renamed all of them. So I was trying to get basically the skeleton of her pose to be able to pose her. Let's see. It's not much there. You can really check that out. So I just set this up. So hopefully, if I start to rotate some of these bones around, you can see like it starts to deform the mesh in different ways. So this is allowing me to. It's not quite perfect yet, as you can tell. Some of the bones are not quite ready. But most of these are actually working pretty well. I was testing the cutie mark at the back here for testing purposes back here to see if the UV sliding was working. Let me just undo that. That's where the cutie mark would be. So I was just checking. I was doing that to make sure that the eyeballs UVs wouldn't be messed up, but seems like they might be if they were using the same. Anyway, so I split up the eyeballs into their own objects like this. So now I can individually set up the UV warp with the transform buttons down here. Way down at the bottom here, I can move these around so the eyes can move left to right and up and down individually. So I can, during animation, this probably wouldn't be useful during animation with exactly this method, but I'll be able to use these coordinates with a bone and a driver to be able to set this up. So using these values, should be able to move our eyes around like this. That's in theory, but today I would like to work on something else. And I'm just gonna show through the different show the fruits of my really hard labor. to figure this out. Hi, Ben. Welcome, welcome. So the flank kind of works. Origin moves it around. Okay, and the big thing is that I finally got the these to hopefully work. At least the IKs work. So you can see, like, that's what I wanted. This is what I've been waiting for. Don't flip it around backwards. That's when it breaks. It's kind of hard to see. It's actually really easier to see with wireframe mode. This is the foot hoof, and this is a hoof IK bone. So I drag this one around. That's what's kind of the anchor, what makes it move around. The yellow means that it has a, I don't know which one it is. There it is. An IK modifier. So all this crazy stuff that I was trying to enter last time, I figured out how to do it. It only works like half the time, so I just kept undoing it over and over, deleted the bones during that stream, and just kept doing it until basically it just happened magically like one time, and I was like, oh perfect, you know, it's like, this is actually what I want, this is what I've been waiting for. And it's like, okay, let me just, instead of trying to make the back leg or even any of the other ones try and work, I was like, let's just copy paste the leg over and over, and so that they all should work now as regular legs. I think the weight painting could be a little better, but that's good start as anything. Welcome, cartoons. Yay. Here's a little jukes for you. There you go. So yeah, this is all, you know, quote, functional, but we'll need some more fine-tuning to actually make it work. To be more animation, like, set up and actually really ready to actually animate. But all the bones are in place that it would just come down to then doing the weight painting, which I tried to explain last time, which is just pretty complex. And so this one kind of rotates the knee around, so you can see like the knee kind of around the kneecap can like rotate around, so it can rotate in 3D space, so you can kind of twist it. If you wanted like a hoof up, you'd be able to use both of these, so you can like untwist it. Hopefully. So yeah, most of these deformations that don't work are just mainly due to the trying to cycle beep beep down to the weight painting, which I started to do, but it seems to not quite work out as well. Looks like the horn might need its own weight painting there, but I think the ears are new. Looks like I need to turn off the weight painting on the eyelids, but this is why you just keep testing it to see like what moves when I move this one. And it's like, oh look, it's moving that. So you like go into how about I do this? You go back into object mode and then go into the eyelids and go into weight paint mode up here and check bones and say when head of 1 over here. I didn't label these ears ones yet. But yeah, see how this one turned red instead of blue? So what I'm going to do is just to quickly make it so that this doesn't actually have any effect. I'm going to now paint it blue. And just kind of just quickly make it so it has 0 influence on from that bone. And I think that should do it. My Werbites wants to tell me something. And we can also quickly do it with the other one. Sounds blue, so 1, it turns green. So green is like in the middle. It just means that it's not, it's about 40%. See how it kind of goes from, actually I need to undo this. See the gradient, it's a rainbow. So green was like in the middle. So like if it's red, that means it's hot. Kind of like how dermal vision kind of works. I think it's how it works. Anyway, so red means 100%, blue means 0%, and anywhere in the middle of the spectrum means, you know, whatever percentage in between it is. So green is like 50% or so. So I want to, when I move the ear bone, I want the eyelids to have 0% weighted influence. And so it just automatically, with the automatic weights I did with the bones, it's just started to think that the eyelids was part of it, which it's not. And so now, if I go back in here, go into pose mode, we'll see if that worked. So now the eyelids, these little bibs, shouldn't have any effect now. So that's weight painting. So just like had a simple, like, really quick fix to nothing really complex or anything to make it not move. But yeah, just gotta get how complicated you can imagine, like how complicated it can get, like to the legs, and why some of these stuff don't work quite right. It's probably also do the horn and do that and see what happens. So see, it has like tiny bit of lighter blue. So this is dark blue and then it goes up. And it's happening to go boop. Let's turn it down to make sure it's. Might also be the lighting, which doesn't really help because I really want it to seem like it's not. But definitely when I move the head, looks like it's 100%, so that's good. Maybe it's just like how it started moving, translation of it. The neck, when you move the neck down here, should it move the horn? Let's see. Not sure why it's starting to deform really like that, where it actually gets like flat. Might just come down to that the head is actually being deformed really weird. I'll have to figure that out. Anyway, that's kind of what you missed last time. Was trying to set up the legs to be able to do that IK thing of having it move like a regular leg. And then some other smaller weight painting stuff. So today, let's go back to here. I like to work on mouth shapes. So I should be able to have some lip sync or something going on here. So don't think I need armature for right now. But I can go in here and see, what do I got? I can have subdivision on, so let's turn that off. See what our thing that I made there. The actual mesh that I made. Let's see what that looks like. So I'm probably gonna be working in here. Let me get my period focus in on it. That's the best way to see this. So I have a mouth bag in here. Means that this will hold. Pretend that it's like the mouth insides, I guess. So you're seeing it from the other side, so you can see like how there's a little hole inside there. And there's the least amount of geometry possible to make it look like there's an inside of the mouth without actually modeling it into our entire like intestinal system and getting really crazy with that. Last thing you're trying to go for that, but for me I just need to have like a small little lip bag here, mouth bag here or something. So what I need to do, set up some shape keys, these ones here. Let's get this going. So I'm in edit mode. I can't make shape keys while I'm inside of edit mode, which is a little annoying. So I'm gonna make a basis first. So when I click it, I make a basis. So this is like ground zero of like nothing's, everything here is like where I want this to be perfect for the shape keys. Because if I change this now, it's gonna be bad. So I'd rather not think about that right now. So we can start with this. So key 1, we can rename it to, where's my smile? Set the influence to 100%. Go back into edit mode, and now I'll be able to play with these vertices and whatnot. I'm gonna put what's kind of going on. Doesn't have to be. It sort of has to be relatively perfect, you know, because obviously if it isn't, then this is what it's going to be. So there you go. And so if I turn the influence of this shape down, you should see that it starts to influence the shape. There you go. I can also set the range minimum to -1. And so now if I set this to 0, it's now in the middle now, instead of all the way to the left. If I pull it back the other way, we actually get the inverse, which makes it a frown. So there you go. This might not be perfect, but we can always go back and edit these as much as we want. So, but there we go. So that's the general of what we're doing here. Hello, Sasha. Welcome, welcome. And so these are like, these shape keys are what SFM and yeah, how the SFM animations were working is that there were like 100 of these for like every single object in SFM, and it's the same way of like how you animate it. You can like add some keyframes. There's a little dot over here. You click that, and then you're able to go over time and say around frame 10, I want the value of the smile to go to 100% here, and then add a keyframe by clicking the little circle. And so now I can see my key has a value, and if I play the animation, and now it goes up. So there you go. So that's how you would do a quick animation with that. So you can imagine like what allows you to be able to do is a lot of crazy stuff. So opens a whole new world. I first tried like for my Paper Derpy movie, I wanted to do like some ocean waves and having like a plane, like a rectangle, and I was like, let's just have this giant plane and then subdivide it to Kingdom Come here. So like a whole bunch of tiny little squares here. And so I was like, hey, wait a minute. I want to be able to like have, you know, like each, like maybe every other point here, you know, like be up, and then I'll be able to have this little animation here. I was like, cool. I want to animate these points and then figure out how to, you know, get these vertexes to like go up and down. And at the time, I was like, what kind of stuff can I do with that? Like I didn't really consider it before I learned about shape keys. I was like, how do you actually do this? I think there was another mode or like a different plugin that allows you to, it's either UV editing or some other stuff to be able to like animate weird, or what was it? There was some tool here, might have been it's not one of these. Must have got rid of it when I upgraded to 3.0.1. Anyway, I was just like really confused with like, there was like this plugin that sort of allowed you to sort of select these and then sort of animate them, but it made every single point become their own timeline and own different animation thing, and it just became really unruly of how I wanted this to be like thousands of things that would go up and down, and I was like, this is a lot. And so now I'm like realizing that, oh yeah, you can just make this a shape key and then you can literally just make them go up and down like that. So jeez. Add a basis and then key 1 of wave, and then you select every other one here, whatever one, some random ones here, and then yeah, move them up, influence 1, and now you can just animate this little thing and just go whoop, this is it, and then you set it to negative maybe 2. Set this back to 0. And so now I can even go backwards and go up and down. Check that out. So, as well if I knew, because this is really simple to do. It just took me forever to actually realize that this was a thing. I was too scared of like these shape keys and drivers and crazy bones and armatures and weight painting I was like, I want to do this as simple as I can and not worry about learning all this crazy stuff. And I was like, oh. But if you start to actually figure this out, it's like, man, this is actually really powerful. Because I'm able to actually move individual points on here, you know. And I can have like a second wave, you know, that's can be maybe like the edges or something. And so these can go all up. And if I put this one up, then these can do same thing as well. And then you can have wave and key too at the same time. And so now you can animate even weirder shapes. So it's really fun to play with. And you can even have like even more mix and matches and just have really fun with it. So there you go. Sorry guys, I'm Marble. Welcome. My birthday's in August. I think it's even on my Twitter bio. Let's see. Let's go. Excuse me. Back to shape keys with Tiny Smile. I'll delete my keyframes because I don't need them. Yeah. Welcome. Hi Rhyme. Welcome. Let's see. Let's set this to 0 so that I don't get influence on what's actually happening here. And let's add a new one. I think I can actually copy as a new driver. I believe there's a way to like duplicate it. Oh, I even get different options based on what if I click on the numbers here, because then I can add keyframes and drivers. Open driver editor. Ah, jeez, this is where it gets complicated. Let's see. So if I had like an editor, or if I had a driver, I'd be able to plot out and have like different like, remember in math school of like all the different like parabolas of little U-shaped, whatever those called, and you can set those to drive different things. That's why it's a driver. So that it can set different, use math to set different variables and stuff like that. I'm going to just double check and duplicate shape key, because there was a lot of different options there that sounded all the same, because they were like copy data path, copy full data path, copy the new driver, and it's like, I'm not sure. I want new shape for mix, but I didn't see that. Turn everything off except the one you want to put into the new shape key. Interesting. I'll go for it. I'll just make a new one. I'm gonna call this open. And if I set this to have also a negative, I'll be able to set it the negative way as well, to have the frown version with only one key. That's what I want. Greetings. November 30th. Nice star. Let's see. Let's just go front. And so I would like I still have my and there I can have these go, and I would like to turn this off. Select a whole bunch of these. Try to keep them still uniform. Go to 3 view, side view, and see what are we working with here. see. That I probably want like all of these. I don't know why I just thought of this, but didn't the Olympics start? I forgot to watch it. Of course, if it hasn't actually happened, then I don't have to worry about it. But, has it? I don't know why this music's starting to make me think things. I'll lift these up. I think there's also like a mirror function, but I'm kind of really scared to like use it for some reason. Definitely get more control, and especially can. There's points where like you probably don't also want it to be perfectly symmetrical, so there's that as well. It's very rare to have someone's face actually be fully symmetrical anyway, if they already look really weird. Okay. So, mouth open. I can also make this like twice as effective. So now, whoop, wrong one. I need to have a different one for frown. So I don't think that's gonna work. So let's just set this to 0, probably just to 1. Nope, to 1. And with a smile, I should be able to have a little bit more of a smile to it. Or if I want like a frown open, kind of open it like that. So there you go. So be able to open and animate like that. Set these back to 0. Okay. It starts getting existential. Cool. Mouth doesn't have any kind of complex bone structure. I agree. The mouth has... You can add a bone, which I've seen a lot, where you have like a jawbone that kind of goes from here all the way down, and then that allows you to open the jaw. It's... I'm kind of like not risking trying to figure that out, just because it's like I'm not sure my weight painting skills would really work, and if it's really necessary in a sense, with how easy, not easy, but just how simple this kind of character style is. You know, it's kind of like they really need like all these extensive amounts of controls when it's like if it's something like open smile. And then, look, it looks like an open mouth smile. You know what I mean? So there's also that, where it's like, it's gonna be fine. So, I did make the inside mouth stuff, like the teeth and the tongue. And so, yeah, I can see them in there. What I may want to do is make this a little taller, at least move this down a little bit, maybe. There's also that where I probably want to make each of these have their own bones or their own shape keys, so when you open the mouth, then these can like move at the right time. Because yeah, when I close it to there, now the teeth are sliding out, so It's also possible to move each of these as well, probably. Let's turn this music up. Yeah, I was just thinking. Let's add a basis and a open one for these two. Basically to have this one when this one is open. Basically just to move it down a little bit. For the tongue as well. Just kind of slide it down a little bit like that. And so now I'll have control for how down the tongue can be. And so when it's open, when mouth is open, then move these down as well. And when mouth is closed, then teeth lower, open, raise it back up. In practice, may not be the exact best method, but if it allows me to kind of do these kind of weird stuff on the fly, then I think that's still good. Let's move this down a little bit, because then I can actually kind of close it as well. Open enough so I can kind of close it like that. Might need to have another one just for close, because now I can kind of see through there. But if I want this teeth to be up a little bit, I can have this one go negative as well. So then I can raise it up as well. So, but yeah, this should allow me to do all sorts of crazy stuff now. Yay. I think we're good for that. So I'll kind of open this up and be able to move this down. And because I made this, I'm sort of knowing how I'm setting this up as well, so I'm not, you know, worried about it being too verbose, I guess. You could probably set these to drivers and bones. Like, I could probably have a separate armature bone that can control the tongue and have it kind of go up and down. Have the bone in space move up and down, and then that can drive. The driver can then set these values from the 0 to 100% over here, and then that's probably how it kind of works on more quote the professional ones. Is that you'll be able to have bones that are kind of closer in proximity, but all they're really actually doing is that they're not actually moving the mesh organically. They're moving it by these preset shape keys. With the Derpy one that I worked on that had the Derpy that ran into the tree and like fell over and everything, I was studying that model, and they did the same thing of having shape keys for each of their face bones. So you're able to have very specific control over what vertices and what moves and not, while still having the bones that are more intuitive, I suppose. So if I was like really into this, I'll be able to do that. But I think for now, at this point, I think just being able to like click on her and then say like, I want not happy, I want this to be a frown version, and then boom, done, you know. So yeah. Let's bring that smile back up. And then if I really wanted to, I could really mess with the shape of it to be really perfect, but just for example, I think this is good. I do want to move on to the eyeballs so we can have a feeling for how that's going to work, which is going to be really complex. We'll see. What I was gonna do, set this, and then I have an armature. I was thinking, like, should I add? I could just add more bones onto this and have it just be connected. Because otherwise then if I start moving her, you know, start moving her like this, then her eyeballs won't move. So I think I'm going to actually make it into the same one. And I can always, like, probably see if I can Can I grab onto one of the bones? Edit. Obviously I can move it in edit mode, but can I also P? I can separate bones. What does that do? Does that mean it's a new armature? And then is this, yeah, it's a duplicate. Okay, I was just testing that, so good. In case I want to have it be separate later, that's how I would do that. So, okay. Or you grab from the flank, because that'll move everything anyway. Control D. New bone. And let's move this up. How do I rename this bone? It's supposed to be I base control. Alright, how we doing? Move this in front just a little bit here. See where that is. Right in the center. Alright. So I'll just focus on one for now. One eyeball. And then we'll see how that goes. So I'm also going to duplicate it, and now we'll have another bone that's a little bit bigger. Let's keep that there. And so this will be I.L control. And so with this in the middle, probably here. Okay. Move it to be right there. And let's go back to here and see. This will be where things start to possibly not work. So be on the lookout for that as we go into uncharted territory of, hopefully this works, territory of, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Okay. Object from armature, bone from, probably the base, I base control, to I base L control. And if I go into pose mode, cross your fingers may not work. Oh, it did! Oh, it works! Yes! Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, this is what we want. Obviously, if I go up, left, and right, so it's the opposite. So what I need to do is go back into object mode. I can't flip it. Tutorial I watched was like, oh, you just go in object mode and then flip it, but if I do that, that's not gonna work. So maybe I can just go into edit mode and flip Z 180. No. Rotate Y 180 to flip it upside down. That guy's doing with meaning of life over there. Sure, it's very enlightening there. It's what works. Okay, so left, right, backward, and up, down, backward. So flipping bone here did not work. So what we're gonna do is try to figure this out. Maybe center is right. There's a way to have these be flipped. Let me see. Can I see from the local axis? Would be nice to see. Bone view. View axis. There we go. Okay. We'd like to see my driver view as well. I think that's one of these. Let's see. Drivers. Beep. And I should be able to see my drivers. Not really. If I go here, you can see the eyeballs and go back into here. what would make something a driver? Transform, offset. I also want to set a I'll go back. Let me go back and do here, edit mode, and I want to set object constraint. Limit location. In here, I want to be able to set some stuff, but I don't actually see any drivers. That's interesting. Minimum Y, X. What am I? I'm in edit mode. Let's go back to pose mode. Transform, view, item. I want these to be in local view, but I guess these will sort of work. Let's say 0.2 meter, and maximum 0.2, but I guess this will have to be that's being negative. I don't know why it's moving the camera. I never got local. Actually, I need to set these to local space. I'll make sure. I never got these to actually work. Really, ever. X is that way, Z is this way. That means Y. Y is up and down. So we're gonna lock up and down. So I shouldn't be able to move it this way now. Perfect. But this way, and actually, I want up and down. I don't want Z, which is forward and backwards. So this way shouldn't move, but obviously be able to do this. Good. Okay. Location. Copy limit. Okay. What I can also do to maybe make this work is a cheat, which I'm going to call setting the UVs themselves to be backwards. Where if the X wasn't set up, then I will scale X backward and then move this back over here. And if I go back into select armature pose mode, now if I move it X way, it now follows X way. And if I move up and down, that's not right. So we're going to object, edit mode, scale Y negative. And so that's resetting how the, nope, gotta be in pose mode. Ah, it's working. Yay! Alright. And so that works. So now up and down, left and right. Now follow it. So this bone, tiny bone here, is only for like figuring out the distance between this one and this one. So, but yeah. So there we go. When you figured out to lock it to certain distances, maybe it actually has to be, is it like a 0? Nope. Still not sure why this doesn't work. If I apply it, it doesn't really actually do anything, does it? Yeah. I don't know. I never got this limit location actually work. I'm even sending it to, you know, custom. Armature. Doesn't like armature. Okay. World space. Nope. Local space. I wanted to lock Z doesn't have anything. It's only locked because of that lock. I wonder if these are actually in. Set that back to 0. Location not working. Anyway, so that works. So now we can do this again. And sorry, duplicate it. I'll see because yeah, it's duplicated. Or it's the same. It's a relationship. So if I move this one, that'll move as well. So I'm trying to just duplicate it. Please. Oh, edit mode would probably work better for this. Now I have 2. And I'm just gonna use the edge of the screen to get the shape right. Or the scale here right. So I'm just kind of line it up like a ruler. I say that these need to be approximately there. And about in there. And so now this one, which is I control I dot R slash control. I think that's what this one says. Yeah, okay. We'll get rid of that. And now I just have to remember what I just did to get this to work. This one needs a... What's under that object constraint? Right, it has a different type. It has UV unwrap. This has UV unwrap. And so, right, now we got an object so we can work with this now. Kind of scoot this over for you. And armature. And so we want the budget, bone from the middle one, which was the base, iBase controller, and the bone to the IR control. And so we'll set this up to be the same way. Select armature, pose. If I move this, what happens? So it's the same backwards. Left is not left, and up is not left. UV edit, select X and Y, and then set this to be about here. Might have to sneeze, but we're gonna keep going. Select armature, pose mode, and if I move this, this moves. And of course I want to move both. Now you have to select both of them. So I may want another bone that's actually... If I move this one. Oh, interesting. It's backwards. But... I'm kind of scared if I move... If I rotate the base one now, everything's kind of set up, so... Might not want to not actually do that. But it would be nice to not have another one, but I guess might have to make another one to be able to move both at the same time if I mean select both of them. And the base is only just for the relationship thing anyway. So I'm going to select G, Y, move this back a bit, and make this one even larger here. Or if I can select it, select the right one here. Okay. iBase control I both control and we'll have it so that these bips follow this one. So if you move this one, then hopefully moves both. This is independent. Right eye, left eye, and if I click this one, then it moves both. And because they're all in the same orientation, got this. So, it's not programming, but it's just like trying to figure this out of how orientation in 3D space actually works. So, but there you go. Two different ways to rig something. It's to either have different shape keys with the body. You know, you can have different vertex shapes and control it that way. Or you could do it a crazy way of setting up crazy bones that is like, hey, let me set this up so I can follow a UV texture, which I don't know, easy to be able to kind of show that of what's actually going on. I showed this last time. It may have misled you last time as well that I was gonna, you know, I was like, oh yeah, these things are able to move the texture around. And it's like, yeah, look, this moves the people around. Isn't that cool? I'm able to use these. Maybe I can use these as a driver. And what I'm actually using is actually the texture itself. I don't think I actually have a train block UV. It's from... I still have this for some reason. And the different references and pictures I got. So it doesn't actually exist as a texture, I don't think, for some reason here. Can't really show it off. Anyway, it's basically the pupil itself is actually being a mathematical graphic, and then that graphic is just perfect enough that it doesn't have other features besides the actual circle in the middle. So there's nothing else to really get in the way. So that's how it's actually moving around. Is that the actual texture inside of it that's mathematically created by here, and then is then projected onto the 2D mesh here in 3D space, and then these bones are then kind of using that to advantage to do the UV wrap special modifier. God, if I showed this myself like 10 years ago, just take a picture of this, and it's like, you know, Yoshi, 10 years, you'll understand what the heck is going on in this picture. I'm able to actually discern, like, maybe because I figured it out as I went along, but it's like, man, what even, I'm just taking a step back and going like, what even am I looking at? Like, jeez. Everything's nice and labeled and everything, you know, it makes sense, but jeez. And so yeah, if you click on some of these, and if I want to move both, then you click the biggie one, and I can move the eyeballs around. So there you go. Alright, and if you want to get the cross-eyed, gonna grab these and then get that. And if we want to move the mouth with the shapes here, you can get a little bit of a frown or something and go, I think the teeth is going too much into the mouth, then you kind of move them up, and hopefully they will, but maybe sometimes they won't, so I might have to make other shapes here. And got a different expression. Maybe we can change that back to a smile, a little bit of a open one there. Maybe I want the tongue to be a little bit lower. Can't. Maybe I want to make that a little bit twice as much. There you go. And then I want the armature back so I can get my other bones. I can get the rest of the pose going. So I can get something like this, and I can get my IK bones. So I'll grab this one. Use the knee to adjust this angle, and maybe not play with this one too much. I can move this down a little bit to get some scrunch. And I can move this one up. A little bit of a kick. And if I want the wings open, I can switch to my wings open ones, get my closed ones and remove that. And then we hide the armature. And we'll have to figure out the teeth stuff. So maybe I don't want the teeth in there at all, so I could just remove those. Tongue can be removed as well. Maybe tongue's cute. And Vertex for tongue, please. Where did that go? So I guess I'm in. Oh, I'm in pose mode. There you go. We need to make a negative. Oh, that's 0. -2. Can't move it down unless I want to make it actually 4. Hang on. Work if I actually typed the right numbers here, huh? And we got spotlights. Beep beep. One thing is that the eyes kind of get a little bit washed out. And I tried to figure that out, but it's a little bit too tricky for my little brain here to figure that out. And if I can move some of this. I also have that plane, which is here. Hide the elements. And there we go. It's like there you go. So we rigged it, and we were able to pose it, and we got a cute little lighting, and there you go. All in a day's work. I mean, obviously this took like 3 weeks or something of intense trying to debug all this, but there you go. You know, look at it. Oh boy. There you go, and she's 3D. I mean, that's crazy. I think for character-wise, I think this is probably the most complex thing I've done ever. So, pretty happy that it's cute. That's always a plus. There you go. All right. I'd like to maybe fix the head pose here. And I can do that. Yeah, so we'll set the ears. Horn doesn't have one, but definitely need that. I was trying to set it so the eyelashes would kind of fit a little better, but oh well. And the leg here can be lifted up a little higher. This one. There you go. Okay. Let's get really picky with that pose there. That's good. Yeah, the eyelashes are a little bit off, but at this point I don't think I'll be able to really fix that. Oh boy. Let's see. Keep plugging old mare. Thank you. It says main made. Is the main made? No. I was going to work on. We're gonna figure out what story. So yeah, okay. So next stream on Tuesday, next week, we will work on the. Okay. Thank you. Hang on, that's important. Thank you, Miro. That's incredibly generous. Thank you. Wow. Super appreciate it. Thank you. I haven't seen your little profile. That's really cute too. Wow. Let's see. I'll be sure to do that. I usually drink juice, but I think that's probably gotta cover that as well. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, so next week, we will work on making a Mad Lib story. We get to choose. Oh, there it is. We get to choose what characters and what plots you want. So in interest of not trying to create a Derpy and then have the story not feature a Derpy, then wouldn't make sense to spend even more time trying to polygamy model out the hair and then realize, oh, I don't really need it. In case the story is Pinkie Pie and Starlight or whatever, it's like, why did I spend time making an exactly perfect Derpy? So that's what I was doing, was to make it so it's generic, and that's why I added the horn in case we wanted a unicorn for the story, and so I'd be able to just have that done already, play plan with that, because any unicorn would have this. So if I needed like 10 unicorns, then I would only have to make like one horn. So the main and stuff are not complete, but once we decide on which ones for story purposes, then we'll add them on. So that was the point of that. Yeah, so if we choose to do a Derpy focused short 3D animation, which we will do, then I will make the hair and tail and kitty mark and all that. But yeah, just in the off chance, you know, it could happen where we decide to do a story where it doesn't feature Derpy. You know, like the Harshwinny story, the giant Gen 5, you know, characters animation we did. Like those didn't feature Derpy, so I was being smart with those to not make, especially the G5 style, make sure to not exactly make a Derpy first and then realize, whoops, I didn't need to do that. So yeah. I think it's a good time for toaster time. Let's get on it. Boop boop boop. And yep, thank you again, Mayor Bro. Thank you. As that's still good. I'll probably scroll up a little bit, so thank you. Oh yeah, hang on. Let me get my own juice. There we go. Okay. Kind of tuned the comments out just a little bit, because it kind of got a little bit a little existential for me. A little too much. Anything else I'm putting here? Let's see. For some reason I can't read it back up. See if there's any other questions in here. I think it's at the okay then. Yeah, that was an extreme thirst. Yeah. I got a huge bottle of like fruit juice, like getting those fruit juice ones to get some fruit in my diet, I guess, because usually we have dinner whenever we cook and bake and stuff. You don't really add fruit to it, so this is the only way that I really get fruit in my diet is to have some fruit juice. Right now I think I'm having, it's really tangy. Oh, it's pineapple, and it's a fruit mix. I have something else. It's not apple, maybe like a mango or something. I'm trying to remember what it was. Definitely pineapple was in there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm allergic. I'm a little bit allergic to like completely fresh apples, so it's like nice to have those kind of processed, and it has a lot of sugar, but it means that my throat doesn't get scratchy and weird. Then that's good. Yeah, pineapple definitely has the most sharpest, probably the sharpest type of fruit that I regularly have. I like pineapples on pizza, so there you go. I was always into Hawaiian pizzas as a kid, so I grew up on it, and so I love it. Hawaiian has Canadian bacon and pineapple, and it was always my favorite as a kid. It was just like the, you know, the ham would be like taste like bacon, and then the pineapple would be like a nice fruity refreshment. I was like, oh, this is like apple juice and really fun and wet pineapple on top. Of course, if you have like a bad one as a kid, then that'll obviously offset your opinion on it. You know, where you're like, oh, I don't like pineapple to begin with, and then maybe had a really bad soggy pineapple pizza, and it's like that's what you think of. But I've apparently had really well crafted ones. So good job. Thank you, Cookie, as well. Thank you for helping out. Thank you so much. It's really great. Let's see then. Kind of talked about how the rest of the streams are gonna go on. Let's see. Should we move on to the movie with that progress? I know that I would like to keep most of that progress, especially like very specific what I'm working on, to just the Patreon updates. Pledge on Patreon today, and you can see a whole bunch of different updates and see, hopefully not too spoilery, but also sort of if you're kind of reading into it, but on the surface it's not too spoilery. So yeah. Well, it's alright. You kind of got into that existential stuff. You kind of started it, yeah. It definitely helped a lot, but I started to tune it out once it started to like not get about, like, it stopped talking about what I was doing, and I was like, okay, yeah. Had to really pay attention. I had to concentrate on what I was doing, and it's like if I hear other stuff, it's like, wait a minute, okay, whatever. So that's what happened, yeah. Yeah, stuff about that. It's like, oh, okay, you have fun there. And to wrap up the movie thing, it's not wrapping up completely, but there's definitely a good progress on it. That's like around 17 out of 35. So that's over about halfway. So about half the shots have animation in it. That doesn't mean it's good or finished animation, but at least half the shots have content in it. So that's good. So yeah, I'm trying to get it done relatively soon, so we'll see. But yeah, still gonna take a while. Definitely gonna be a whole lot more work. What you saw today of what I was doing today, that's scratching the surface of how long I really get into these how I get into these projects, really deep dive into it, and like really focus in on stuff there. Hi, legit. Welcome. What's up? Well, what's up with you? How you doing? Let's see. Okay. Sorry. Okay. You can stay if you want, legit. Star's in a mood. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. I didn't finish my Patreon pitch as well. There's so much stuff. Okay. Patreon.com/Yoshi Greenwater. Link in the description. Pledge today and you get access to a whole bunch of updates. You can see where I am. Keep up to date. I try to do one every week. Try to do it on Sundays. Last time was on a Monday. Sorry about that. I did it on a Monday, so there you go. But yeah. But yeah, little tiny previews and snapshots and screenshots and screen grabs of like my weird animation process of having incredibly messy canvases, and just kind of knowing that most of my doodles and stuff and helper drawing stuff, it's gonna appear in the final thing and final product, so it's okay to have a huge amount of massive 10 layers of different sketches and on top of sketches trying to figure things out, like a blackboard trying to figure out a math problem. It's like, okay, I need like 10 different blackboards to like figure this out, but I'm gonna get there. Okay. Thank you, legit. Okay. See you for real. What are we doing? Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Meet again. See you next Thursday. Okay, cool. I can see you decoded then. Alrighty. What do we think of hand-drawn animation? Like hand drawing? I actually did a little bit this past week, and it's actually really invigorating of like much more free than puppets. You know, like how puppets are like 3D models where it's like everything's very solid, you're perfectly on perspective, and everything's as it should be, and you're just kind of sliding different pieces around or rotating them, translating them. But when I did a little tiny hand-drawn section for the movie, like one tiny little action that was like, this is going to be really hard. Because I could say it was a snake action, that's as far as I'll say with that. Then one of the snakes has to do something complex. And I was like, that's impossible to do with my one frame of tail that I got, you know. So I'll only be able to do a certain amount of stuff, and it's only made out of one piece. So it's like, okay, to be able to do this complex thing, I need to draw this on multiple pictures and frames and actually do it as a regular 2D animation. And I was like, wow, I can actually use my animation skills and of like hand-drawn animation skills that are very specific to like how straight ahead and pose to pose, and actually making calculations and like physics and graphing it out, you know, and like actually trying to because the computer actually does a lot of the back work, you know, especially with puppets. You're only really, again, just moving things, translating them around on screen. You know, like you have like an arm, and this is your arm pose, and to be able to move it, you know, from here to here is like, this is it. You know, not really able to, you can kind of deform it, but it's like, it's not as much as you'd think than if you actually redrew it every frame. So I actually had a lot of fun doing that. I felt like I was actually cartooning for a little bit. I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Yeah, so they decided like tiny sections that I actually have to do. Hand-drawn work is really fun. I do enjoy it. It's just like efficiency-wise and actually getting it done, I think it's going to be, especially on my own and trying to do it on a schedule, it's like going to be impossible to do it in a timely fashion if I did it hand-drawn. So that's where some of it comes from. It's like, I can do it, but it might take like a lot more time just because I have to do physics and science and math all together to be able to do animation. And it's not like you turn your brain off for puppets, but it definitely turns off a lot of the thinking and behind the scenes of what actually has to happen. Flash has, I guess Boom also has tweens, where they're like, you can set keyframes for like a hand here, and then you can use the same drawing and then have it literally just be rotated over here. That's a weird angle, but it's like I have a finger now. So you have the same picture, but you literally just have pose, and then second, maybe like 20 frames later, you have a pose of the same drawing, but literally just using a translate tool to rotate it over to here. And then you can use the in-between function to be able to have the computer figure out incrementally each step of the frames and then figure out how that works. I don't rely on that as much anymore, of like having the computer literally interpolate from pose to pose. I do things more as on twos, where I would actually figure out, here it is, and then frame 1, and then 2, and then on 3, then I would like kind of figure out and translate it over to the next incremental pose. So I would like figure it out, and then I'll be able to have a little bit more precision on exactly the easing of like, does it like go fast and then slow down, or does it go slow and then fast, you know? You could do that with tweens too, where you can set up easings and exactly have it be on the ones and everything, but I feel like it becomes a little bit more precise when I do it myself. So, especially with the facial animations, those take a lot more time than the body of like having them, you know, just kind of squish down and blink and not blink, just kind of moving the head around and then have the body kind of squish up and down. But the facial expressions take a lot more time. So I have to like set up each frame of the blink, and then maybe the eyebrows have to move as the blink happens. So like every single blink, the eyebrows kind of move downward as a blink, and then setting that up. So it's a lot more tedious and a lot more on ones to set that up. Yeah. Hello, Levi. How you doing? Welcome. But yeah, actually, I do have fun with hand-drawn animation, and I respect it, definitely. It's just efficiency-wise, and especially the way that I've already set everything up, and my pipeline for the movie and everything else is, if I switch now, it'll be more jarring than it's worth. I don't know if it'll look Disney-esque or maybe more anime style, where things are more on threes, where every third frame there's a new picture or a new pose with anime. I know that's probably, there's, you know, animation is just a huge gambit of different styles, so just saying that. But on the average, it would seem that there's like every third frame there's a new picture. Not to say that that's a rule, but it's an observation. Whereas on Disney, especially hand-drawn ones, 30s to 90s, they were more likely to be on one. So every single, on 24 frames a second, every single frame was a new hand-drawn picture. Of course, you can't get away when, especially a character's just kind of still. You probably don't want to draw that character every single frame. You could probably put that on twos or have them on holds. So there's always an exception to every rule. So, but on the whole, as every action, there would usually be on ones. Western cartoons be on twos, and then anime would probably be on threes. Looney Tunes would also be on ones, so that'd be the standout. And then there's the on ones Akira's. Akira, the 1980s movie, was on ones, which is anime. So there's never like a hold fast true rule for any of these, but yeah. So what I do is animate with puppets, and I'm able to just move these assets and repeatable assets over and over, and animate them on twos. So every other frame on the 24. I do 24 frames a second, so there's like 12 different poses every second, basically. But the facial animations might be on ones, and the mouths might be on ones, eyebrows might be on ones, hairs might be on. I do the hairs on tweens just because that's easier, and then the puppet animation and body poses, those would be on twos. So one character could be, have on ones with one piece, the body might be on twos, and then the eyeballs and eyebrows might be on one. So it's all a mix. So it's like an illusion. Like you're never really supposed to really figure out like what's the frame rate of this character, what's the frame rate of what's going on. It's like everything's always offset by, every many frames. So like one character might have poses every even frame, but the other characters on screen next to them on the same shot, like right next to them, might be on every even frame. So they're always kind of like boop 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 boop, but they really might be able to feel that, but it makes them feel more unique that they're not in sync that way as well. So I always try to make sure that when I set up a new scene, make sure that the blinks are the core of each shot to make sure that they're timed out. Especially when I have like 4 characters, make sure that there's 2 not blinking at exactly the same time, because that's a little awkward. So I try to like set up a little mini mini breakdown of like, okay, this one's gonna blink at 10, this one's at 17, this one at 21, and this one at 35. So when you watch it, you'll be able to see like each character boop 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 and turn. So a little fun micro stuff like that I like to do with each with my animation, so it feels like they're all unique. So yeah, I can't think of anything else right now. I just saying thank you. Okay, I appreciate that, because I can go on and on about this kind of stuff. But yeah, working real hard. So I probably definitely want to fix up the weight painting. I guess I don't have to immediately for next stream, because we'll just do the Mad Lib story anyway. So I'll have a little bit more time, to probably like a whole week's worth to work on the weight painting and make sure that puppet, the 3D model, which is sort of a puppet. They call them rigs, character rigs, so I like puppets better. So to get that Derpy general character, I should say, be as perfect as it can be, and then make a story, and then start setting up the character to be whatever character we choose. So leaving it open, so as we don't have to do Derpy if we don't want to, but that'll always be there for you. It should always be there if you want it to be. So but yeah, so that'll maybe more shape keys, probably make it so that a shape key that probably doesn't work, I could have a helper key to be able to have, you know, something to work a little bit better. And maybe make some more eyeball stuff, like make eyelids so that she can actually blink, eyebrows, cheeks, you know, it could just keep going on and on with how much complexity we can keep adding onto it. But just to get this going, you know, it's like I have to get to core essentials. It's like blinking, it's not going to be as essential as be able to make sure that when she moves her butt down, what happens, you know, does she actually sit, you know, does her legs crumple up, do they, you know, do the legs actually work, does the neck work? Make sure the body itself mechanics work before doing smaller stuff, like trying to make sure that the eyebrows, you know, can do 10 different expressions, you know, that's not important right now. It's not a priority right now, you know. Let's see. Let's get to the educational. Oh, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think that's about it, unless I want me to repeat anything. But I think we're good. Maybe get some more juice and we'll sign ourselves out then. Thank you guys so much for hanging out after all this. Be able to chat with me. This is always fun. Let me just click on stuff over here. Okie dokie. Well, again, thank you guys for watching. That's me. I'm done drinking. You can click these buttons. There we go. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope this was fun. Hope you guys had fun with all this. Thank you, Mariboro, for the oh, in USD it's only 178. And then when Google takes a half cut of that, that's, yeah. Not to dwindle your, you know, minimize your generosity, but it's like, yeah, realistically, it's like, I'm gonna probably get like half of 150 to 20, 78 cents. Not incredibly amount. So, yeah, thank you so much though. I appreciate it. But thank you everyone else. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. There we go. I guess I have my like microphone like physically over my keyboard, so I keep pressing the wrong buttons. Thank you guys again though. Hope to see you again next time, and we'll do some more fun stuff. Let me turn off the music so we'll start the next one. There we go. Okay. Thank you guys. Alright, bye guys. Bye bye. Bye bye. Yeah.